4 high schools, 7 middle schools, 1 college, and a university, and much more. Now introducing your most comprehensive weekly local sports show in Madison County, the Richmond Register Sports Show. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Metronet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Central Kentucky Pressure Washing, Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. And by MEL'S BARBER SHOP, established 2019. Walk-ins welcome. Visit them 102 St. George Street in Richmond. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Here's your host for all things local sports, the Richmond Register sports editor, Nathan Hutchison.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. My name is Nathan Hutchinson. I'm the sports editor of the Richmond Register, and we appreciate you checking us out this week. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to go down to Berea and hang out with the Madison Southern Track and Field team. Assistant coach Russ Carson Jr., along with Kaylin Wright and Fuzz Carson, are going to take us through some of the finer points of the jumping events, high jump, long jump, and triple jump. We filmed this earlier this week. It was quite a fun time, and it's quite informative, so hopefully you should hang around and check that out. But as always, we'd like to start off the show the same way we always start off the show, with a recap of the week that was in Madison County sports. And we're going to start off on a very special day at Berea Community on Thursday. It was signing day, and 5 senior student athletes down there were set to announce their college decisions. Jaden Cunningham for football was signed with the University of the Cumberlands. Sophia Dobbins for volleyball signed with the University of the Cumberlands as well. And 3 members of the Lady Pirate basketball team are also heading off to college. Isis Rogers going to Spalding University, while Maddie Stepp and Madison Howell are headed off to Berea College just up the road there. So, of course, Jaden Cunningham was a standout running back and linebacker for 4 years at Berea Community. And Sophia Dobbins is just the second ever volleyball player from Berea College to sign a college scholarship. But after the signing ceremony, we got a chance to talk to our 3 Lady Pirate basketball players. That's Isis, Maddie, and Madison. It's signing day here at Berea Community. We have 3 members of the Lady Pirate basketball team are heading off to college. Isis Rogers going to Spalding University. Maddie Stepp there in the middle going to Berea College, and Madison Howell going to Berea College as well. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
You guys have been together pretty much for the last 6 years on this incredible journey, as Coach was talking about earlier. So I guess each one of you just kind of talk about what the past 6 years has meant to you and what you guys have been able to accomplish together. Isis?
It means a lot to me. This is the only team I've ever played for. Coach Stepp is like my only coach ever. It just means a lot because not only are they just my teammates, they're my family. They just accomplished a lot. So yeah, they'll always hold a special place in my heart.
And Maddie, what does this mean to share this day with your 2 buddies and teammates here?
I'm so grateful that I have these 2 and the rest of the teammates because, that's our family. We haven't really known much else for the past 6 years because it's been kind of year-round for everybody, but very thankful for this opportunity to play at the next level.
Yeah, Madison, your thoughts on the time you spent with these 2 young ladies next to you?
Yeah, I would say I'm very grateful as well. It is kind of sad just because I am really close with everyone on the team, and even though I'm not moving far, it's just going to be a different environment. But overall, we've really done a lot this past year and the years I've been here, so it's been a great experience.
Okay. Isis going off to Spalding up in Louisville. Kind of what other schools talked to you, and what did you like about Spalding?
I really didn't wait on any other offers. I visited places, talked to people, but I just liked it. I visited twice, so it's just like that. Yeah. But it's exciting because I'll get to play against them at least twice a year. So.
Yeah, and of course, Madison, Maddie, kind of a 2-for-1 here with Berea College. I mean, did this kind of work out that way, or were you guys involved with each other's processes at all, or just kind of turned out that way?
So they both, Berea College reached out to both of us, and then we kind of were talking about options we had at college, and then we were like, wait, you're talking to Berea College too? And then it was kind of like, from there on, we had this plan of like, we would go play basketball together and stay together.
Me and Maddie play really good together as well, so it's like a really good opportunity.
Yeah, we have a lot of chemistry on the court.
We appreciate all those young folks for inviting us down to celebrate their signings with them on Thursday. And of course, at Isis, Maddie, and Madison were part of really something special down there at Berea Community. Those young ladies were part of 4 straight 11th Region All-A championship teams. They got to the 11th Region tournament twice, were the 44th District runners-up twice, and had great careers. So all 5 of those young folks will be keeping an eye on you, and we wish you the very best of luck in the future. The rest of the week that was in Madison County sports, we'll start off with EKU baseball. The Colonels came into the week in a tie at the top of the ASUN Western Division standings with Central Arkansas. Both teams had an 8-4 record, and the schedule just happened to provide us with a showdown between those 2 teams this weekend here in Richmond. And it was Central Arkansas taking 2 out of 3 from the Colonels on Thursday, 13-9 for the Bears. Friday, 9-8 for the Bears, and on Saturday, EKU was able to salvage the final game of the series with an 8-6 victory. In the win on Saturday, the Colonels hit 5 homers, which helped them snap a 5-game losing streak. Logan Thomason had a 3-run homer, and Will King had a 2-run homer, and Will Bryan came on to pick up his 12th save of the season, worked out of a jam in the 8th inning, and then retired the side in the 9th. So the Colonels 22-13 overall right now, 9-6 in the ASUN. They'll be at home Tuesday against Xavier, and then host another ASUN series at home next weekend against North Alabama. EKU softball team also had Central Arkansas in Richmond this weekend, and tough weekend for the Colonels. They got swept in a 3-game series. On Friday, they suffered a pair of 5-1 losses, and then on Saturday, it was a 10-6 loss. On Saturday, the Colonels did hit 4 homers, but they got down early 4-0 and were not able to come back and pick up the victory. 7 straight losses for the EKU softball team now, 7-31 on the season, 3-21 in the ASUN. High school sports, we had a little bit of an uptick in action this week with teams coming back from spring break. And we did get some rainouts, but that's spring in Kentucky. But got a lot of stuff to tell you about. We'll start off with high school baseball. Madison Central, fresh off its trip to Florida, came back and had a pair of games and picked up a pair of wins. On Friday, 11-2 over South Laurel down in London. And then on Saturday, it was an 8-4 win over Letcher County Central over in Irvin. So that's 3 straight wins for the Indians, 12-4 on the season. In the win over South Laurel, it was Keith Stewart with a home run, Matt Johns 2 for 3 with a double and 3 runs scored, and Bradley Pointer had 3 RBIs. And then in the win over Letcher Central on Saturday, Gunnar Rodas 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run scored, and Parker Mullins 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored, an RBI, and a walk. Monday, Madison Central's first home game of the season, taking on state powerhouse St. Xavier here in Richmond at Don Richardson Field. First home game of the season. It's been a long time coming. So, Madison Southern baseball team had 3 games this week. On Friday, picked up a 6-4 win at Clay County, and then on Saturday went on the road and played a pair of games against a really good Connor team, and suffered a pair of tough losses, 3-1 and 8-7. In the win over Clay County, it was Mason Himes 2 for 2 with an RBI, a run scored, and a walk. Zach Hudson 1 for 4 with a double, an RBI, and a run scored. In the 2 games against Connor, the first game, it was Braden Hudson 2 for 4 and Caleb Cobb 2 for 3. In the second game, Madison Southern had a 7-2 lead before Connor came back and scored the final 5 runs of that game to claim the victory. But for Southern, it was Corey Causey 2 for 4 with an RBI and Caden Carr-White 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Eagles 6-8 on the season, back in action Monday at home against West Jessamine. Pretty busy week for the Berea Community Baseball team. They started off last Sunday evening, actually, after we filmed this show. They took on Model in the semifinals of the 11th Region All-A Classic up in Lexington at the Sayre Athletic Complex, and they picked up a 2-0 win. Then on Wednesday, it was a 17-2 loss at Estill County. Then on Thursday, they played Sayre in the championship game of the 11th Region All-A and suffered a 10-0 loss. And then on Saturday, had a pair of games at Bath County and fell 12-2 and 4-3. So Berea falls to 4-7 on the season. In the win over Model last Sunday, it was Cam Thompson and Billy Strife combining for a shutout, and Cody Roberts scored both runs. And Berea Community will be back in action Monday at Lincoln County. The Model Patriot baseball team, 3 games this past week, and were not able to come up with a victory. As we said there, last Sunday fell to Berea 2-0 in the semifinals of the 11th Region All-A, and then Thursday a 15-0 loss at Clark County, and then on Friday an 8-3 loss at home to Bergen. In the loss to Bergen, though, Jackson Brown, 15 strikeouts in that game. He was also 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI, and Eli Estes was 2 for 4 with 2 doubles and 2 runs scored. Patriots are 11-1 on the season. They'll be back in action Tuesday at home against Bluegrass United. The Madison Central softball team, coming back from a perfect 5-0 trip to Florida, has not cooled off one bit. 3 games this past week, 3 big victories. Friday, 7-3 over Pendleton County on the road, and they came home Saturday to play a couple of games over at B. Michael Caudle Middle School, an 11-3 win over South Oldham, and a 14-4 win over Ryle. In the win over Pendleton County was Olivia Metcalf with a home run, Cassidy Hack 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Then in the opener on Saturday against South Oldham, it was Olivia Metcalf again with a home run, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Cassidy Hack 3 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Michaela Morin with 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored. And then in the final game of that little triangle on Saturday, listen to this, folks. Olivia Metcalf, 2 more home runs and a double, and Cassidy Gentry homered as well. So 3 games this week, 4 homers for Olivia Metcalf. So just tearing the cover off the ball. 9 straight wins now for the Lady Indians, 11-1 on the season. They'll be back in action Monday up at 11th region rival Lafayette. Madison Southern softball team had 3 games this past week and was not able to come up with a win in any of those. Monday, a 15-4 loss to North Laurel over at Berea College. And then on Thursday, a 14-9 loss at Franklin County. And then on Friday, a 5-2 loss to Mercer County over at Ferristown. In the loss to Franklin County, it was Ashlyn Eastep, Jada Carter, Caitlin Boland, and Crystal Cook with 2 hits each. And then in the loss to Mercer County, it was Chloe Risen with 2 RBIs as the Lady Eagles collected only 3 hits. 9 straight losses for the Lady Eagles. They're now 1-9 on the season. Be back at action Monday at home against Pulaski County. The Berea Community softball team finally got on the field this past week. A lot of different reasons, but they had not played a game up until this point. But last Sunday in the opening round of the 11th Region All-A Classic, they took a 12-2 loss to Frankfort. And then on Friday at home, picked up a 10-9 win over Pineville in dramatic fashion. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning to come up with a walk-off win. Sadie Hall had an inside-the-park home run and scored twice. Taylor Johnson had 2 hits and RBI. She scored 3 times, and Mackenzie Howell also scored 3 runs as well. The Lady Pirates will be back in action Monday at Danville. And the model Lady Patriots, they also had a pair of games last week and did not come up with a win in either one of those. Last Sunday in the opening round of the 11th Region All-A Classic, suffered an 11-1 loss to LCA, and then on Friday at home, suffered a 19-6 loss to Henry Clay. And the loss to Henry Clay, it was Kinsey Ferguson 3 for 3 with an RBI and scored a run, and Aniston Bray was 2 for 3 with a triple, 3 RBIs, and scored twice. 5 straight losses for Model. They're 3-6 on the season. Be back in action Monday at Jackson County. Some high school track news to report to you. We had an all-comers meet Tuesday over at Madison Central. Madison County athletes had 37 top 5 finishes. Took the championship in 5 individual events. The next all-comers meet at Madison Central will be April 25th. The complete results of that meet can be found at richmondregister.com. We usually go through and give you a pretty thorough breakdown of all the local athletes when we have those big track meets like that. So go check out our website for complete details on all of that. And on Saturday, it was Madison Southern's Lane Brockman setting a new school record in the discus with a throw of 136.1. And it was at the AJ's Heart of the Bluegrass in Harrodsburg. Lots of other good results for Madison Southern at that event too. Once again, if you go to richmondregister.com, we'll have a story up there with a complete recap of that event as well. And we had all kinds of tennis action this week as well, and lots of good results for local teams. On Tuesday, Madison Central split a match with Frederick Douglass, with the Lady Indians picking up a win. And also on Tuesday, the model tennis team split with Franklin County, with the Lady Patriots picking up a win. On Thursday, all 4 local high school tennis teams were in action. Models girls picked up a win over Dunbar. And on Madison Southern's girls beat Scott County. Berea Community split with Western Hills, with the boys team picking up a victory. And Madison Central split with Franklin County, with the girls picking up the win there. Madison Central will be back in action Tuesday against Lafayette. Berea will be back in action Tuesday against Tates Creek. Madison Southern will be back in action Monday at Frederick Douglass. And Model will be back in action Tuesday at Montgomery County. And if you go to richmondregister.com, we have complete wrap-ups of all those matches as well. So I don't have time to really go through all those here in this setting. There's a lot of matches, but it's all detailed on richmondregister.com if you want to go check that out. That's all we got for you for this week. But like I said, hang on for just a second, and we're going to head down to Madison Southern, and we're going to find out all you need to know about the jumping events.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Metronet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Central Kentucky Pressure Washing, Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. And by MEL'S BARBER SHOP, established 2019. Walk-ins welcome. Visit them 102 St. George Street in Richmond. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, greetings from Madison Southern High School. We're here with our old buddy, Russ Carson Jr. How's it going, Russ?
Doing just fine. How about yourself?
Pretty good. We're here to do a little, we did a couple weeks ago, we did a pole vaulting 101 with Wyatt Stewart over at Madison Central. We thought we would like to come over here. You guys have got some of the best jumpers as far as track and field athletes in this area. So we're going to go over here and do a little 101 with the jumping events. High jump, long jump, and triple jump. So you're the man, right?
I'm not the man. They are the man and the woman's over there. We got, we had 4 kids that placed at indoor state this year, and one of our better girl high jumpers wasn't even there. So we've got a pretty good jump squad.
Yeah. Well, of course, obviously your son Fuzz has gone on to Louisville to compete at the Division I level in a lot of these events. But what we kind of want to do with these kind of things is kind of show people how this works and kind of the ins and outs of this. And I'm very interested to learn a lot of things too. We did the one with Wyatt, and it was very interesting to hear what he had to say. And so, as the as the assistant over here, but kind of the jump guy, you kind of focus more on the jumping events. So we're going to walk through all 3 events. Braden unfortunately is injured and can't actually jump for us today, but we'll show us kind of how this works. And then Kaylin Wright is also here, and she's going to show us triple and long jump as well. So let's start off with the high jump. So when you have kids first come out who maybe have never done this before, and it's obviously we're just watching you work with a young lady, and it's not a normal thing to do, and it's something you have to kind of condition your body to do. So what's kind of the first thing when somebody comes out and says they want to do the high jump, how do you approach that with them?
Well, most kids want to be jumpers because jumpers don't have to do sprints all the time.
Don't have to run.
They do have to do sprints, but not as much. So usually in the beginning of the season, everybody wants to jump, and the kids will tell you that we fire them, and so nope, you're fired. You're just looking for raw talent. But jumping is kind of like, sprints are your race horses, but so are the jumps. But the difference is that we're going to add science to it. Mm-hmm. We're going to add a lot of technicalities and movements, and high jump especially is physics. You got the centrifugal force. You got what's called running a J. They'll tell you more about that, but you can't just go up there and jump. You see a lot of these guys that are tremendous athletes in basketball and things like that, and they try high jump, and they look like they were dropped from a building, falling out of the sky or something like that. So there's a lot of science that goes into that. Okay,
so let's start off with, you want to come out here, Fuzz? We'll just kind of, we'll start off with the approach. I mean, obviously you've got to come around this way. We're trying to stay out of the sun here. We have a bright sun here. So when you're thinking about your approach, I see lots of different people kind of line up, come at an angle, different kind of ways. Sure. You've been doing this a long time. What's kind of always been that way you've handled approaching the bar?
The way I've always handled approaching the bar is I always do an 8-step approach. First 4 steps are a bound. You build up speed. On the 4th step, you cross your foot over. That's when you start the lean. That's where where it's called the J curve, where you start to curve over to the bar. And then by the time you hit your 8th step, you're already back here because you started the lean on the 4th step, and you carry that speed that you built in the first 4, and that's when you do your jump.
Yeah. Now you've been doing this for a long time. So how long did it kind of take you to to kind of get that, and like we were saying here with your dad, it's not a natural thing people will do.
It took me. I started doing this in 6th grade. It took me probably till my freshman year to like actually get it down, what I'm like doing, and figure out what's how you're supposed to do it and how you're just not supposed to do it. So it took me 3 years to figure that out.
Okay, like I said, we know you can't jump, but if you wouldn't care just to walk through kind of one approach with us here, or do you feel comfortable doing that with your?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We're just making sure we don't want to have a little bit of an injury, and you don't want to make it worse out here, just kind of goofing around for us. So.
Running in a circle, so you're the outside of my right foot and then inside of my left foot, running on that. And you load your arms because they're going to help you lift when you do your jump. So you explode up, you start, it's through the whole body. You extend your ankles all the way up to the hips, and then your shoulders, and then your head, so you gradually raise your body up, and then that's when you do you don't even have to lean back. If you do this correctly, you don't ever have to forcefully lean back. Your body does it for you.
Okay. That's obviously, I'm assuming when you first do this, it's very scary because you're throwing yourself backwards blindly, basically. To get over the fear of doing that, I guess, took me a long time to just do it without even thinking about it. So now I don't even think about it at all, and my neck is really strong because of it. So it's whatever. A few falls back on the neck over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So typically, when you're maybe this is a better question for Russ, but when you're starting out doing this, kind of what kind of height would you kind of start? Maybe a middle school kid or something. Where would they start off trying to clear?
Middle school kids, usually they start off at the opening height would be 5 foot. And no, that's high school. 4 foot. My bad.
Middle school's a long time ago for you.
Yeah. 4 foot. And so usually when you get to 4'8", 4'10", that's where the really elite middle schoolers start to show up. And then 5 foot and up is just, those are your best jumpers that you got.
Yeah. You set the school record last year at the region meet, right? What was the height there?
6'6".
6'6". So that's it. Where you start off from there, it's kind of unbelievable,
Yeah, I started off. I hit 4'10", 7th grade year. I was super excited about that, and then 8th grade I hit 5'8". Yeah, and then that summer I hit 5'10". So I was confident going into freshman year. I hit 6'4" freshman year, and then didn't have a sophomore year, COVID.
Yeah. And
then junior year I got 6'6", and that's right around when I started doing decathlon stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, I think about we saw it here a minute ago. Russ was working with a young lady. I think part of what we saw with the approach there is also the takeoff point, because I think she was getting a little too close and was hitting the bar on the way up. So talk about the placement of where you want to take off at.
So it's really, really important where your foot is. If you're too close to the mat, you always drive up, and the force, it carries you up and over, but it can also, depending on if you jump into it, I always point my foot at the back corner of that mat, and then I never shoot my leg up. I always go to the side because your body is already starting to curve. So you can see in some of my videos, if you watch them slow motion, you can see by the time I'm already here, I'm already like this. So, and if you're too close to that, you're going to jump into the bar, because you're jumping, this is the bar, you're jumping you want to jump up and over, not like a rainbow. It's a really specific arch, the way it's supposed to be properly. So, and if you're too far away, then you hit it on the way down. So you got to be like a perfect. It takes a lot of fine tuning, to figure out just how close, too far away, like figure out just exactly where your foot should be to the mat.
Yeah, and obviously coming up too, this is it's a controlled approach. You're not sprinting. Obviously, you've done sprinting events, and you
Right.
obviously have some speed, but that's not what we're doing here either. It needs to be under control, I guess.
Right. Yeah. You do first 4. I do the bound, which is you just build power and speed. You're not picking up speed, but you're building it so you can just carry it within the second 4 steps. So you don't just start off run. You do the powerful bound, and then once you build the momentum and your legs are activated, then you just carry. The last 4 steps I do aren't necessarily powerful at all, except my takeoff step, because that's when all that momentum and power you've built up there, it all goes into that one leg, and then that's when you jump.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that you don't actually bend backwards, because it looks like you bend backwards, but
Right.
you're saying just the natural momentum will just kind of carry you over like that.
You do have to.
Well, to a certain degree, but you're not breaking your back trying to.
Right, yeah, no, you're not
Okay.
forcefully just leaning back. You just bring your head back this much, and just by having your whole body gradually go back, it'll just automatically flip you over.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was it's amazing to watch these guys do this. And you want to go over and do high jump or a long jump and triple jump?
Sure.
All right. We got Kaylin over there too. So let's go to the high jump and triple jump and the long jump. All right. Moved over here to the pit, and we have with us the most colorful young lady on the Madison Southern track and field team, Kaylin Wright. Thanks so much for taking some time with us.
It's no problem, thank you.
I'm going to talk about your hair, but
Yeah.
every meet she has a different setup with her hair, so you always know you're there. It's very colorful. I love it. So we obviously you do a lot of different events. 100-meter dash obviously is one of your best events, but you do the 2 long jump and the triple jump. So I figured we'd talk to you about that a little bit here. So I mean, we'll start off with just the basic layout here. You have 2 boards, and you can jump from either board.
8-foot board or 12-foot board. So start off with just how you can jump is you always want your foot to be on the board but never over the board, because that's when you start to scratch, and then they don't count the jump at all. So, and then with long jump, you're just doing 1 jump and then it's straight into the pit.
Yeah, and with the 2 different boards, kind of how do you decide which board you want to go with?
It is decided by how far you can jump. So let's say if somebody is able to jump 14 feet, then there's no reason for them to be jumping on the 8-foot board, because that's just going to ruin their potential to go further. So jumping from the 12-foot board would force them to go further and potentially may let them get 15 feet or more.
We'll put the short board for the people that can't go very far. Make sure they reach the pit, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now when if you're coming from the 12 here, we're going to mark it off. And tell me how far usually you go back, how much you mark it off, and how many steps, and just kind of walk us through that process.
So finding your mark is about the longest and most tedious process that happens when you do any type of jumping event. So, and what we do is we take a measuring tape, we put it on the board, we go down, we do a guesstimate, and mine's at like 82 to 83 feet right now. So I start 83 feet back from the board, and then I run, and then I jump. And that's about how we figure it out too, is we say, here, let's try 72 feet, and then we're going to run and we're going to jump and see if our feet lands on the board. Because when you do the marking, you don't ever actually look at the board. The board is like the least important thing that you have to worry about, because if you get your mark right, your feet will naturally land on the board. So you don't have to worry about it.
So from 82 feet, how many steps are you taking?
I don't count, so I don't know.
Okay.
So.
Any estimation at all, or does you just know it's a feeling? It's a feeling.
It's a feeling, honestly, because like I don't count, because I do the thing where you do in high jump where you bound and then you speed up and then you go faster. So it changes every time because your mark changes every time. Because sometimes it'll be 80 feet, sometimes it'll be 90 feet. So it just depends on the day, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a very flexible thing.
Yeah. And like we were just saying with Fuzz there, there's a strategy there to the approach. You're not a full-on sprint the whole way.
No, not at all. It starts out with a bound, and that is about 4 steps, just like high jump, and then you want to start speeding up. And then the difference between high jump, though, is when, say I'm doing the long jump, I'll start at like the 36 board, is I'll just start full-on sprinting until I hit that board instead of like just cruising through, but like you would do in high jump.
Yeah, you don't actually looking down, so you're not actually looking at the board when you're coming up.
No, it's always you're always looking at your target or past it, to be honest. Because like if you're looking down at the board, you have to take time to look, and then like I don't know where the pit is anymore. Yeah. So like I'll miss it because I guarantee you I've done that at least twice. Like Fuzz can probably attest to that too. Is you miss the pit when you look at the board.
Yeah. Take off right foot, left foot. I mean, do you have a?
I start off with, like, I'm weird because I start with my left foot forward, but I jump off of my right foot, which is not what normal people do because they'll start with their right foot forward and then jump off of their right foot. But that's just what has worked for me, so it's what I do. So.
Okay. And so when you get into the air, what's kind of the?
When I get into the air, that's the funnest part because it's always what I struggle with. Is when you get into the air, the first thing you want to do is you want to throw your chest out and throw your arms up, because that forces you to get higher up in the air. And then when you start falling is when you want to bring your legs out like you're touching your toes, basically, and you're gonna land basically like you're touching your toes. So it's just a very drawn out stretch basically in the air. And what I used to do before I figured out how to do that is what Coach Carson would call getting in the go-tart, where I would basically be in this position when I jumped. It was really funny, and I have a few pictures of them to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously moving to the triple jump, that's a totally different animal. It's for someone who's never done anything like this, it looks so awkward. I mean, it's obviously
very awkward and
something
very
you never do in normal life.
No, not at all. So it is very awkward, very dangerous. I've hurt my heel twice doing triple jump. So it is something that you very much have to get down pat or you will hurt yourself. And the biggest difference is you do right, left when you jump, or left, right. Mm-hmm. So you're jumping off of one leg twice and the other leg once. Yeah.
And I guess you can kind of walk us through that. You don't have to actually do a full speed whenever you just kind of want to walk us through that there, and because it is very, very awkward looking.
So say I'm like just going to back up right here. Say I'm going. This is the board I'm starting off of. So I'm going to go right, left. And then by then I'd be in the pit. And it's very hard to get that down pat when you're going full speed because it kind of gets confusing. I know some people who do quadruple jumps, so it's
Like I said, I can't even imagine when you first try to do that.
It was definitely a challenge to get down pat when I first started it. I'll tell that.
Yeah, and you must even go to meets now and see ladies try to do it.
Yeah, I normally try to help them just because it's something that you can get hurt in very easily, so I don't want them to do that to themselves. So yeah.
And so the same thing with the marking off there. You kind of have the distance there as well, and kind of.
Yeah, it's the same way marking. It's just different board, so it's going to be farther back, obviously.
All right. Well, so besides being out here and actually doing it over and over again, what kind of training can you do to help you with these two events?
The biggest thing, especially with triple jump, is we'll get on the turf because triple jump is very, very hard on the shins. And so jumping on this turf repeatedly is not a good idea. So what we'll do is we'll do the triple jump on the turf to get the form down pat, because the biggest monster in triple jump is the second jump, which is when you're transitioning from your right leg to your left leg or your left leg to your right leg. And most coaches will say it's a jump, skip, and a bound, which it basically is. But most time when people do the right leg to the left leg, it'll just be a step instead of a jump, and that's where a lot of people lose plenty of distance, because that's how I got my PR. Is I jumped my second step instead of walking it like I normally did. And then with long jump is the biggest thing is the landing. So we'll practice on the high jump mat, just landing, perfecting the landing, because we practice landing on our butt instead of our feet, and that adds at least, I would say, 2 feet, wouldn't you say, to your jump at minimum when you start landing on your butt instead of your feet.
Yeah, you got to throw your body out there.
You do. You have to throw yourself for. That's how you get far. So.
Yeah, and you have to. The sand is soft, so it doesn't hurt. So.
It doesn't. It's soft for a reason, because I definitely wouldn't want to jump if it was hard. So. Yeah.
Kind of where are you sitting at right now with your PRs on both events?
So my PR in triple jump is 36 feet, I think 36.6, and then long jump is 16.7 feet. So
obviously, like I said, you're a sprinter as well. What do you enjoy more? Or all the above? Shut up, coach over there.
Yeah, that would be asking me to pick out my favorite food. I don't really have one. I like doing them all. So yeah. Okay.
Well, Fuzz, come back in here. We'll bring you in here too. You have anything to add to what she talked about with the triple and the long jump there? I mean,
she explained it really well by comparing it to the high jump and the differences. And high jump and long jump are probably the least compatible jumps with each other because they're so different, but the end result is the same. So, and same thing with triple jump, how she was talking about the second phase being the most important, because a lot of people, instead of doing a bop, 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 which is how it should sound like, it's like a bop, bop, bop. So they'll do a step in their second just to get to their third leg. So when they go from leg 1 to leg 2, they like to do it as fast as they can because it's uncomfortable. But you just got to focus on doing that, getting on that second phase, stretching it out as long as you can. And yeah, how she mentioned, we do it on the turf, we'll do it in our socks. So, and we'll do it from there. We'll do it from the field onto the high jump mat. Always practice the landing. Sometimes I hit my head on the goalpost.
That's a good problem to have.
Actually, serious.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for taking some time out here today to show us. That's always interesting to, for people who've never done this before, and I'm including me. And obviously, I know your dad, kind of the de facto jump guy around here, and you guys have had a lot of success. Especially that's been kind of the heart and soul of this team the past couple of years, and you guys have won a lot of first place and stuff in the jump events. So you guys had pretty good luck with it, pretty good success.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing this religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 years in a row.
6 years.
Yeah. Coming out of Ferristown, both Ferristown kids.
Both Ferristown.
Ferristown.
Yeah. You guys will graduate. We won't know what to do. I'll come out here to a track meet, and you guys won't be here, and it'll be like, what's going on out here? They're not here. All right. Well, thanks a bunch again for letting us, taking us through this a little bit and schooling us a little bit. And obviously, you're signing with Louisville. And I think I don't know if we can say yet or not, but you're
about to sign with
Georgetown College. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. We didn't know if that was official yet, but so then it's official. It's official.
You just announced to the whole world.
It's out there. Sunday night when this debuts, you're totally committed after that. So, and you guys have had some other great athletes here also recently commit as well. So you don't have the biggest track team in the world, but you obviously have some very talented kids here. So appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah. A couple other ones. So.
Yeah, he went to Transy.
Yeah, so it's good success here. So once again, thanks a bunch. I appreciate it. It's very interesting, and I'm just a curious person when it comes to these type of things. And you watch something for all these years, and you wonder how the heck do they do that. And so, but thank you so much. Want to come back in here for a minute, Russ? Close us up here. Finish it out. He's gonna. Well, I mean, like I said, you guys have. Going forward here, you're about midway through the season, I guess, and obviously he's been out for a little bit, but you guys have had a pretty good run of success, and you got another all-comers meet coming up, next week over at Central again?
Well, Saturday we're at the AJ's Heart of the Bluegrass there in Mercer County. That's a big time, one of the biggest meets all year long. So then we're Yeah, then we're at Central. No, we're at North Laurel next Tuesday. So we've been without Kaylin too for jumps for about a month.
Well, she still won the 100 the other night over at Central. So.
Well, it's funny. She ran the 100, and I thought, why is she doing that warm up? Because it was 2 or 3 seconds before anybody else got across the finish line. Well, she was running by herself.
Well, they had you like the last heat or something. I was like, why is she at the very end? So. Well, good luck to you guys the rest of the way. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to kind of show us a little bit about what's going on here. And we love to get these track kids some attention. It's one of those sports kind of flies under the radar a little bit. And it's a beautiful day, so we get to come out here and hang out. So thanks, Russ. Thanks, Fuzz. Thanks, Kaylin. Well, thanks again to the Madison Southern Track and Field team for letting us come down there and hang out with them. It was very informative. We did a little segment like that a couple of weeks ago with Madison Central's pole vaulter Wyatt Stewart, and I just find it fascinating to get a chance to talk to these young folks and the coaches and really kind of get in their heads and find out how they do these things and how they train. And it's a lot of fun, really informative, and I hope you find it that way as well. So thanks again to Russ Carson Jr. and Kaylin Wright and Fuzz Carson as well. So that'll wrap it up for this week. We'll be right back here next week, 9 o'clock Sunday evening with a brand new show. But until then, the best place to keep up with Madison County sports is on Twitter, Richmond R Sports. That is the undisputed #1 place for sports in Madison County. Will you give us a follow? We'll blow up your timeline with all kinds of good stuff about all the great local athletes we have here in Madison County. Also on Facebook at Register Sports and at richmondregister.com. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Metronet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Central Kentucky Pressure Washing, Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. And by MEL'S BARBER SHOP, established 2019. Walk-ins welcome. Visit them 102 St. George Street in Richmond. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Thanks for watching the Richmond Register Sports Show. For more information about all things sports in Madison County, log on to richmondregister.com or on Twitter. And like us, Register Sports on Facebook. Get the Richmond Register directly to your mailbox or get the app online and visit richmondregister.com.